Here's Alexis Morris. You heard Holly break down her redemption story back to the tutelage of Kim Mulkey. Fired that up too strong. Reese on the offensive glass. There it is again. And look at Kane come from behind. And Reese nearly picked up a second foul. Amore off the mark. Offensive rebound. Kinley puts it in.
Down in transition. It really benefits LSU to do so. But here, Liz Kitley, the biggest player on the floor.
But another offensive rebound. Knocked away by Williams. LSU now in transition. Morris, nice move to the hoop and the finish.
Involving Kitley in the pick and roll.
Samaya Smith is the Tiger who checked into the game for LSU. Oh, the scoop is good. Alexis Morris. Fourth turnover for Virginia Tech. Here's Reese. First team All-American Angel Reese squeezes it in. Rebecca, one of the things Kim Mulkey talked to us about in regard to Virginia Tech, she said, what makes me nervous is how many seniors they have, how experienced they are. As Morris lays it in, she said, but.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's entire 6-7 player rotation are upperclassmen, including grad student. But they have looked a little bit nervous, expectedly. That one didn't from De'Asia Gregg. That shoots 45% on the season, 35% from three. You would expect at some point their shots start to fall.
Amore says, how about now, Miss Lobo? Poa inbounding. Gets it into Morris. Bunny jumper is good. Alexis Morris has provided the offense. Sixth Final Four appearance for LSU. Trailer can't serve it in. Kinley able to finish on the follow.
They've gone heavy to her so far early in this one.
Here's Reese getting the post up. Oh, Reese able to shed Gregg and reverse it in. Carson draws two, gets it out to Williams. LaDasia Williams spinning, taking and hitting. 20-13, LSU in front. Amore looking to wheel away from her second, so she, very frustrated, heads to the bench. Last tier Poa into the game for LSU. Clark trying to flag it down. She does. Still plenty of time to operate. That's going to be a foul on Poa. And it'll stay right here with Iowa.
That was on Poa?
Foul called on Poa. I think she blocked before Clark extended. You see Clark has scored or assisted on 64% of Iowa's points in the NCAA tournament. We know she did it on every point of the fourth quarter in the win against South Carolina. Clark, they're going to get Clark for a foul there. And that is her second.
That's the right call. No, Ryan, that's the right call as she comes off dribbling with her right hand. Andrea Carter demonstrated this in our pregame show. You see her with the left, grabbing, getting around. That is a foul. That is the right call.
So two on Clark, who will stay on the floor, unlike everybody else who has two, who has headed to the bench. Johnson over to Poa. She will fire and hit from three. How about this shooting from LSU? Largest lead of the game, it's 7. Clark looking for an answer. Short. O'Grady is fouled. An 8-0 LSU run. That's the first on Williams.
Shot making is contagious, and Poa steps right into it with confidence and drains it. Wow, this is an LSU team absolutely on fire. Has already equaled their makes per game average on the season from three.
5 for 8 in this first half. Clark gets denied but fouled. Poa fouls Clark, shooting 3. And now Clark will head to the line, number 2 on Poa. Hey, don't forget the 27th annual WNBA draft is upon us. The Indiana Fever have the first pick this year, followed by the Minnesota Lynx. The WNBA draft, Monday, April 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Aaliyah Boston declaring.
Yes, expected to be the first pick of the draft.
Yes.
As Clark misses the first free throw.
She's having to do a lot. She is having to do a lot, and you wonder if fatigue will play any part for Caitlin Clark down the stretch of this one.
The last three-point attempt was front rim. That first free throw was front rim. Warnock and Sonato on the bench with 2 fouls. For LSU, they now have 4 players with 2 fouls. Poa, Reese, Morris, and Poole. Poa stays on the floor, as does Clark, who has 2 as well. Looks like Alexis Morris is ready to go back in. She has been a total gamer for the Tigers. Carson, wow. How about this first half? Jasmine Carson trying to be a hero for LSU today. Timeout, Iowa. A 7-point lead for the Tigers midway through this second.
Jasmine Carson, the entire bench for LSU has come to play. No fear.
Well, LSU a 7-point second quarter lead. Let's take a look at our thrilling drives from tonight's game, brought to you by Nissan.
The thing that has surprised me so far in this game has been the elite shot making by LSU. This is a team, as I've mentioned, averages 5 made threes per game. They've got multiple players making them, stepping in with confidence, completely altering what you're going to have to do on the defensive end against them.
Take a look at their season average, what they've done thus far today. So if you're Iowa, do you react to that? Do you continue to invite them?
I think they're somewhere in the middle. I don't think you can completely leave them as wide open as you have been, but also for a player like Caitlin Clark, you can only be so aggressive defensively because of the foul trouble that you're in. Sonano as well.
Sonano back in. Marshall's fouled by Carson. That will be the first on Carson, who's been terrific off the bench. Iowa in the bonus, so free throws coming with still 5:23 to come in this second quarter. Most points scored in a single NCAA tournament all time. Caitlin Clark has tied Cheryl Swoops' record from 1993, that incredible Texas Tech run. Cheryl was on our colleague LaChina Robinson's podcast, the Around the Rim podcast. And she said that she mentioned to the LSU coaching staff, hey, we know you can't stop Caitlin Clark. You just got to keep her under 47 in this game. The championship game record is Swoops' 47 in 93.
And worth noting that Cheryl Swoops got all of those points in just 5 games, because that was back in the day when only 48 teams made the tournament and some teams got a bye in the first round.
Sonano in with those 2 fouls, as Rebecca mentioned. Here's Poa, the runner is short. Followed up by Johnson. Another chance for Carson. She dumps it down, and Williams lays it in. Big second chance points there for LSU. Clark looking for some space. Finding Marshall. Marshall around the Sonano screen. Stolke putting it on the deck, and she traveled. The freshman having a little trouble there.
LSU already with 11 assists on the day. They've done a good job. We've mentioned it against the zone. Dribble penetration, touches in the paint. Make the zone shift, and then finding open teammates.
Stolke will check out, and now Warnock in with those 2 fouls as well. So Clark, Sonano, Warnock all in with 2 fouls.
You asked about the defense, Ryan. Iowa in a man-to-man, a little bit closer.
Wow, how about this first half? Jasmine Carson again. She's 3 for 3 from 3. Clark through the lane, got bumped, no call, rebound Johnson. LSU has a 10-point lead here. Carson, you bet! Jasmine Carson electrifying the LSU fans as Marshall lays it in. What a first half from Carson, and LSU 7 of 10 from 3. Is Carson going to go Caitlin Clark now with a heat check?
She was certainly begging for the basketball the second she got over midcourt.
Poa bounces. Williams can't finish it. Rebound knocked around, and it's going to be a tie-up in Iowa basketball.
I am so impressed by the players from both of these teams and their ability to step in, meet the moment, hit big shots. Jasmine Carson is one of them. This one was deep. How did Kim Mulkey feel about it? Well, Jasmine Carson was pretty happy.
So was the LSU bench. Drea?
Well, Ryan, they're excited for Jasmine Carson because she was 4 of 25 from 3 in March.
Wow, a foul just called against either Clark or Sonano. It is Caitlin Clark, and it is her third. And is Clark going to come out of this game? And Caitlin Clark, I think, is frustrated with the physicality of LSU here. Might need another look at the extension. Poa getting up into Clark. So 2 offensive fouls called on Clark in this first half. And 3 personals on Clark now. How does Iowa navigate without her? Smith rims out. Sonano the rebound.
I think right now, without Clark on the floor, the best case scenario for Iowa is you tread water.
And a foul here against LSU on Smith. Hey, coming up at halftime, the Degree Halftime Report. Becky Hammond on set, headed to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the Aces coach. And the officiating in the opening quarter certainly is going to be a story. You always hope that it's not on a stage like this, but impossible for it not to be with the fouls that have piled up for both teams. As Warnock misses the free throw, so Clark on the bench with 3 fouls. Reese has been on the bench the entire second quarter with 2. Sonano and Warnock sat much of this first half with 2. Alexis Morris on the bench with 2 for LSU.
We talked on our pregame show about how important it was for the Stars to stay out of foul trouble, and that box has not been checked.
Here's Johnson. You know, Drea was talking about the struggles of Jasmine Carson, her shooting struggles. In this tournament, she had been 4 for 19 total. Poa knocks down the 3. An absurd display from deep from the LSU bench. They are a plus 22 in bench points. Kate Martin kicks. Sonano's face up. Rolls off. Offensive rebound. Warnock gets fouled. And McKenna Warnock is going to the line.
4 different players for LSU have made a 3. And Poa lands on her tush, but she's going to celebrate no matter what, going the other way. Angel Reese quieting the crowd even from the sidelines.
This has been an incredibly unexpected shooting performance from LSU, but Kim Mulkey told us yesterday, she said, South Carolina did not shoot it. We will. If they're going to give us space like that, we're going to take it.
And the fearless nature with which they've taken it and had success doing it is what is the surprise.
They had 3 made threes in their semifinal win. They've made 8 in this first half. A 12-point LSU lead. Williams and a travel.
But smart. Go at Sonano. See if you can pick up a 3rd on her as well.
But how about if you're LSU, Angel Reese and Alexis Morris, who are your 2 stars, have been on the bench the entire second quarter, and your lead has only grown.
Incredible.
Sonano trying to find space. Dumps it out to Davis. Davis to the corner. Still time to operate here for Iowa. Sonano turns and finishes. That is a beautiful finish from Monica Sonano. Over 2,400 points in her Iowa career. The Iowa faithful trying to spur on this team. Down 10 with Caitlin Clark on the bench with 3 fouls. Carson again. Jasmine Carson has not missed.
And for LSU, it hasn't mattered what defense Iowa has been in, Ryan. Whether it's the triangle, a zone, it's been man-to-man lately. They have been able to find their advantage and go to it time and again.
They are shooting 57.5% from the floor. Carson has 18 points. Sonano barrels in, can't finish. Out of bounds, it will be LSU basketball.
Ryan, can we commemorate the moment? Monica Sonano just dribbled. The second time in the NCAA tournament, she's put the ball on the floor.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
That's right, my friend.
12-point LSU lead. Johnson into the paint, can't finish it. Warnock the rebound. And Iowa down 12, 14-second difference game in shot clock. Sonano bounces in traffic. Here comes Johnson off the steal. Flau'jae Johnson serves it in. And Iowa could hold for a final shot. Ten first-half turnovers from the Hawkeyes. Davis hands it off. Martin traveled. And LSU still with some time here. The 56 points for LSU, the most ever in a championship game in a single half.
This is a treat. This has been 20 minutes of a treat of a basketball game to watch.
Here's Poa. Poa hands it off. Carson banks it in. My goodness, it's wizardry. Iowa has to be going to the locker room wondering if it's just LSU's day.
Coming off the screen, just flings it up there in time. The three goes down. Wow, what a 20 minutes of shooting by the LSU Tigers.
Carson with 21 points, 5 for 5 from three. She's with Holly Rowe.
You are red hot right now. How is that energy and the shot making lifting your team in this big moment?
I mean, it's big for my team, you know. Most of the starters, they got foul trouble. So, you know, I've been working for this my whole life. And, you know, it just feels great to finally display it on this stage.
You're a grad transfer. You have experience. You're a veteran from West Virginia. Tell me how you are making the most of this opportunity with your other starters on the bench. You're shining.
I mean, it's preparation, you know, before the game, shooting, scout, film. You know, it's just all preparation. And, you know, I have a good coaching staff, great teammates, and, you know, all of us are flourishing, and it's showing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly.
An incredible first half from Jasmine Carson. 21 points, 7 of 7 from the floor. After the break, Ellen Company will be back for the Degree Halftime Report. That's coming up after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Most points in any half in Final Four history. Fouls, a story up and down for both teams. Sonano and Warnock with 2. Angel Reese, Alexis Morris, Kateri Poole, as well as Samaya Smith and last year Poa all with 2. But LSU was able to navigate their foul trouble.
Certainly, with both of their superstars on the bench. And I'm interested to see with Angel Reese, granted there weren't a whole lot of missed shots in the first half in order to get offensive boards. I'm interested to see if she will be a little less relentless on the offensive glass, at least early, because of those fouls.
Look at what the bench has done for LSU. Do Caitlin Clark and Iowa have a comeback in them? Here's Poole, guarded by Marshall. Morris drags away on the attack. Catch and fire for Johnson. Back iron, no, and Johnson follows it up. Flau'jae Johnson has it knocked away. Sonano got her hands on it first and then control.
Iowa in a 1-3-1 on that possession.
Clark can't hit the three, little short. Warnock the offensive rebound, had it stripped and out of bounds. It's going to stay with Iowa.
Iowa's going to have to rely a little bit on that on the defensive end, and that's just hoping that LSU misses.
Adasia Williams lost her sneaker.
That happens a lot in LSU games.
I think it's one of the Grinch Kobe's that Vanessa Bryant sent as well. You want to treat that shoe with care.
You certainly do.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Listening into Lisa Bluter of Iowa, she wants her team to get the ball inside. A lot of cross screens, set up Monica Sonano, and then when they get stops, push in transition. You saw it right there, and they got a good look for Clark. Even though she didn't hit it, they want to be a little bit more aggressive here in the second half.
Especially how tight the game's being officiated inside.
Sonano can't finish it. Nice job there from Williams. So a couple of looks that Iowa would sign for on that trip down. Clark from three, Sonano inside. Neither bear fruit. Reese pops it back to Poole after the trap. Some Ray Guy hang time on that pass. Here's Morris looking to take Marshall. Williams and Reese got jumbled up. Didn't matter. I get Williams and Johnson who were both there, and Williams hits the jumper.
And a great balance offensively for LSU. You shot the ball so well in the first half, but you don't want to just rely on that. That's not necessarily your identity. Good job by
Warnock misfires on the three.
Good job by Morris, feeling that, dribbling in.
It's one of the things Alexis Morris talked to us about, how every game presents something different for what her team needs from her, both offensively and defensively. She's been an elite decision maker for the Tigers all season long, and especially in this tournament. Here's Reese. Reese patiently backs in and gets the whistle. Who's it going to be on? It's on Sonano, and it is her third. The NBA Wednesday on ESPN starts in Milwaukee this week as the Bucks host the Bulls at 7:30 Eastern, and then at 10, catch the LA rivalry between the Lakers and Clippers. NBA Wednesday at 7:30 and 10 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. So a third foul on Sonano. Lisa Bluter is very upset about it.
Going to go to the monitor to take a look.
Ooh. They are going to take another look at this after the foul was called on Sonano. An official review here.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
92% of households that kick off the year with Peloton are still active a year later? Yeah, actively using it as a coat rack.
Congrats on 50 rides!
Okay, but it's still just a fad. Just an elitist fitness.
Start a 30-day home trial today. Terms apply.
You'll give up eventually.
Seriously? 92%.
92% stick with it. So can you. Start a 30-day home trial today. Terms apply.
Online personal styling? What's that?
That's Stitch Fix.
Online personal styling? What's that?
That's Stitch Fix.
And how can you help me?
Our stylists do the shopping for you.
How do you know what I like?
And what fits.
You tell us your size, budget, and style.
We mix it up. I keep it neutral.
We've got you.
Wait, is it a subscription?
No commitment required here.
And I only pay for what I keep?
Yep.
What about shoes?
Mm-hmm.
And style for me?
For me? For me?
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 For me.
Always. Your style, your fit, our expert.
Febreze Fade to 5 plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to digitally control how much scent is released so it doesn't fade.
Does mine have a microchip?
Oh. Febreze smells first day fresh for 50 days.
That is a shockingly long time.
Febreze also has a refill reminder light.
It even reminds you to refill it?
So I never miss a day of freshness.
Your home is so fresh.
Upgrade to Febreze plug.
Papa John's just flipped pizza night on its head. This is the new crispy parm pizza and bottom. Introducing the crispy parm pizza only from Papa John's. Parm pizza only from Papa John's.
taking a look at that last foul called on Monica Sonano, her third, to see whether or not the elbow from Angel Reese could be deemed an intentional foul, which Angel Reese could be deemed an intentional foul, which would then be added to the common foul of Sonano.
And you can't take away Sonano's foul. What I think they should have done is add the unobserved intentional for the elbow to Sonano's face.
Instead, the officials did not add anything, and that contact is not an offensive foul on Reese, which they could not have added. They could have added the intentional foul, but they did not. Instead, it is just the third foul on Monica Sonano. Nothing further. And obviously that is a tough reward for Sonano after taking the elbow. Reese was in foul trouble in the first half, as the majority of both rosters have been. Reese hits both. A 21-point LSU lead. Not only have they shot it well from the floor, they have shot it well from the free throw line, 10 of 11. That is not characteristic of them. Clark knocks down a three.
That time LSU switching out on the on-ball screen, which we hadn't seen in the first half, and it didn't matter. Screen by Sonano. Williams switches out, but then retreats too quickly. You cannot retreat until Morris gets there.
And Caitlin Clark, with that make, has set the record for most points in a single tournament in NCAA history. And she will a comeback for the Hawkeyes. Williams surrounded, goes up, can't finish. Reese underneath, lost it. Martin has it. And a tie-up will give Iowa possession.
Angel Reese does such a great job with her lower body to try to get offensive rebounding position. Stays low and strong. Didn't come up with it there, but she was in the mix.
If you're Iowa, how do you crawl back into this game?
Well, you got to keep getting stops on that end of the floor, and they've done a fair job of that, but you have to score on all of your possessions, or a great percentage of them.
Sonano looking for some space, able to finish, plus the foul. Williams gets whistled for the personal, as Sonano has a chance at three, and it looks like Williams might have taken a shot to the face.
Yeah, with Sonano's left arm as she was getting hit on the right, came down and got Williams right in the chops.
It's gotten very physical on the interior, as Williams and Sonano have both taken elbows now in this third. It's a 6-0 Iowa run. This would be the largest comeback in championship game history. The record was 15 points as Johnson travels.
Anytime you have a big deficit, you try to break the game up into smaller, more manageable pieces. And whether it's 2 stops in a row or 3 stops in a row, that's how Iowa has to look at this game.
Johnson checks out, and Jasmine Carson in for LSU. Why not? Carson off the bench at 21 points in that first half. Warnock, they need it. They have it. A 9-0 Iowa run. Nearly turned over. Williams lost it momentarily. Goes back to work. Can't finish it. Sonano has it. A chance for Iowa to creep closer. Clark, a bomb. Off the mark. And maybe a bit too ambitious. Although nothing has been for Clark in this tournament. Clark playing with 3 fouls. So is Sonano. Williams off the mark. Reese underneath is fouled by Warnock. And that will be number 3 on McKenna Warnock.
And that last three-pointer for Iowa. This is what happens when you gamble on the defensive end. Jasmine Carson goes for the steal. Angel Reese just has to step up to stop the ball. What happens? You kick to the three-point shooter, McKenna Warnock, and she knocks it down. LSU has to be careful with their gambling on defense.
Sonano off the rebound. Thank you, Drea. Here's Clark. Marshall alone. Connects. A 12-0 run for Iowa. Morris can't get it to go, but the foul from Reese, the best offensive rebounder in the country. Clark behind the back, separates and hits. Iowa has done a lot of work in a hurry, a 15-2 run in a 3-minute span. Here's Poole. Barging in, and a foul's called on Warnock, and that will be her fourth. And so now Warnock checks out, and that changes the dynamic for Iowa because Stolke is not the threat on the perimeter that Warnock is.
Exactly right. Warnock has good size inside defensively. But more importantly, Ryan, yes, she is a very good three-point shooter. Stolke does not have that part of her game.
Poole, short on the free throw. Warnock, a key member of an Iowa starting five that is making its 92nd start together tonight, most in the last 20 years. Poole missed them both. Rebound, Sonano able to grab. Here comes Martin, shedding Poole. Trying to squeeze it out and could not. Morris. Clark, remember, has three. Had to avoid. Reese can't pop it in. And it'll stay here with LSU. Wow, have things tightened in Dallas.
Three-point shooting teams are never out of a game, and Iowa has upped the ante from the three-point line here in the third quarter.
Iowa on a 15-2 run. It's an 8-point game.
Iowa's been able to get stops on the defensive end of the floor and then been so efficient and effective on the offensive end. Looked at this deficit in little chunks and made the right decisions and have been able to come back and make this thing a ball game here in the third quarter.
And Caitlin Clark with that three hit her 6th of the championship game, which ties the record for most in a title game. Let's send things over to Holly Rowe.
LSU has been a roller coaster team all season. They've had lulls in games before, and Kim Mulkey just yelled at her team, this is the time that we start falling apart. But Angel Reese took over the huddle and said, no, we're good. Everybody calm down. I then popped my head into the Iowa huddle, and Lisa Bluter said, every stop we run, set screens for Caitlin, then set screens for each other. Both coaches with very firm game plans right now.
Great point, Holly, and it's something Andrea Carter has been saying all season long for LSU. They've been in situations where they get big leads but do not put their opponents away.
Morris, big bucket off the inbound there for LSU. Just the second field goal for Alexis Morris, who averaged 24 over the last 2 games. 10-point LSU lead. Sonano working the post. Marshall thought about it. On the run, leaning. And a block from Poole. LSU controls. Here come the Tigers. If Iowa were to come back, it'd be the largest in title game history. Morris, nice pocket pass, and Williams on the finish.
Morris is so dangerous with the pull-up jumper. You have to help out on her, and she read it beautifully with that pass.
Clark playing with 3 fouls. Clark separates and knocks down another. A title game record 7-3 for Caitlin Clark. And the Clark family enjoying the show once again.
And it's not just the deep threes, Ryan. It's the contested threes that she's able to hit.
Morris in the mid-range. No. Sonano the rebound. Here comes Clark ahead to Marshall. Clark wants it. Airmailed that attempt, and Reese comes down with the rebound. 25 for Caitlin Clark. Reese, the spin, the flip, the denial. Martin couldn't get to it, and a travel. A travel is called on Morris, Iowa basketball.
A mere mortals, you can contest and get this close, and it's really hard for them to make the shot. This is outstanding defense by Morris. Hand up right there, doesn't matter.
Now Iowa will go smaller here. Molly Davis comes in for Hannah Stuelke. You see the record for Clark. Sonano deep catch, turn, and the finish. Monica Sonano has made it a 7-point game. Kim Mulkey and LSU wanted an offensive foul. Sonano is also playing with 3. And a whistle. Are they going to take a look at this being an unobserved foul?
Yes. And I thought Sonano did lead with her elbow, but absolutely not with the same force, or not with more force, I should say, than we saw on the other end earlier in the quarter from Angel Reese.
And on that previous review,
we have a coach's appeal for LSU. They want us to review the previous play for any unintentional or disqualifying contact.
So certainly, if they had called that a common foul in the moment, I wouldn't disagree. But considering they chose not to call the unobserved foul on Angel Reese earlier in this quarter, I would anticipate that they will choose to not call it here. They should have called that an offensive foul in the moment, Ryan.
And it would have been number 4 on Sonano.
But you cannot go back and just call a comment.
And so the only option is for it to be an intentional or a disqualifying foul. And given the precedent from the foul earlier on Reese that was reviewed and not called anything, here was the Reese one where they called the foul on Sonano.
Do you agree?
I agree with you that because the other was not called intentional,
yes,
or disqualifying, I don't know how you then would call the Sonano one something different. Now, they both, I think, should have been offensive fouls.
I completely agree with you there.
Yes. You have the right to appeal in that case. For those unfamiliar with the rules, maybe tuning in for the first time as our audience continues to grow for this tournament, the coach can appeal there. What they put up as collateral is a timeout. So if Kim Mulkey's wrong, it costs her a timeout here. Now, are the officials going to explain to the coaches before they announce? Kim Mulkey is getting an explanation, and it doesn't look like she's going to be happy about it.
After review, the play on the floor stands. LSU has been charged 1 timeout.
And that could be the most impactful thing that just happened. If this is a tight game late, LSU now has 1 less possession where they can call a timeout and advance the basketball.
They have 2 timeouts remaining.
Yes.
That's it. In a game that has suddenly tightened. 7-point LSU lead. It was 21 earlier in the quarter. Williams face-up is good. How about the way LaDasia Williams has answered the bell offensively in this tournament?
Perfect compliment to Angel Reese, because when Reese gets the double attention inside on the low block, Williams so good from that free throw line area. Money jumper.
16 for Williams. Here is Martin. Getting it over to Marshall. Sonano wants it. Eyes up, finds Davis. Davis into the paint, surrounded, lays it in. Able to avoid Reese. That's a huge bucket for the diminutive Molly Davis. 71-64, LSU in front. You see the bench advantage. Morris gets a clean look. Can't hit. Reese on the offensive glass. So tough to stop on the interior.
Oftentimes before the shot has even gone up from her teammate, she is working to get positioning inside. It is remarkable.
One of the things that Iowa hopes is on those longer misses, you get longer rebounds, and it takes Reese out of the equation. It didn't there. Sonano finds Marshall, 5 to shoot. Clark will. No, rebound Martin, and it's knocked out of bounds off of Martin. LSU basketball. And Iowa wanted a foul on Johnson.
Both teams understanding the importance of possessions, crashing the glass, offensively, defensively.
It looked like the right call.
Yeah, absolutely did.
Iowa bench just got a warning following that. LSU a +9 on the glass. Dump inside, Reese, and a foul called. If it's Sonano, it is her 4th. And it is number 4 on Monica Sonano.
Great low post positioning by Angel Reese, getting low, putting her hand up. The weak side defender, Sonano, has to come over.
Was a technical called as well? I think it was. And that on Caitlin Clark, which is also a personal. A crippling possession for Iowa.
Oh, on that.
So not only will LSU get 4 free throw attempts in this possession, but now Iowa's 2 best players pick up their 4th personals on the same possession. A combination of language used by Caitlin Clark and the tossing of the ball is what prompted that call. I think you could think 2 things in that moment, Rebecca. One, you would hope there's a little more leniency given in a moment like that, given the stakes. 2, if you're Caitlin Clark, you probably have to be a little more careful.
You can think both of those things. I've been thinking a lot of things throughout the course of this game.
It has been tough to stomach at times for both fan bases. An 11-point LSU lead on Iowa with now Sonano and Clark along with Warnock on the bench with 4 fouls. Iowa really struggled at the end of the first half. Big steal here from Davis. An 11-point LSU lead, and then Davis gives it away. Here comes Reese, 2-on-1. Reese misses the layup, and a loose ball foul called on Morris as she went over Davis. That'll be number 3 on Alexis Morris. Davis backs it out. Marshall thought about it. Here comes Martin, considered the glue of this Iowa team. And a foul on Flau'jae Johnson. That'll be her first personal. And the 14th foul against LSU. If you're Iowa now, you can essentially hold for a final shot here. And I would think you want as few possessions as possible
without Caitlin Clark on the floor.
Clark, that's right.
I think that is strong math, Mr. Rucco.
See how Iowa plays it with a 2.8-second difference game and shot clock. Out to Stolke. Martin comes back to it. Caitlin Clark calls Kate Martin the greatest leader she has ever been around. Grew up a die-hard Iowa women's basketball fan. 6 to shoot. Martin on the drive. Can't lay it in. Williams the rebound. Surrounded. 2 seconds left. Poa gets it across, and Reese nearly banked it in. That's how the third quarter will end. Once down 21. Iowa trails by 11. Going to be interesting to hear from Iowa head coach Lisa Bluter. 3 of her top players with 4 fouls. The Iowa coach chats with Holly next. 9 Eastern on CBS. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Plenty of celebs in the building here in Dallas. Dr. Jill Biden with Billie Jean King. How about Dirk Nowitzki, member of the 2023 Hall of Fame class? So too is Pau Gasol catching the action as well. Emmitt Smith, a Dallas legend, of course. The NFL's all-time leading rusher, Candace Parker, the two-time NCAA champion and the two-time WNBA champion. Dallas Wings star Arike Ogunbowale, a hero at this time of year. Asia Wilson, a two-time league MVP, reigning champ, and a champion with South Carolina. And Simone Augustus, LSU royalty, a two-time National Player of the Year, has to like what she's seen from her Tigers, leading by 14 with 7:11 to go in the fourth. They were able to weather that Iowa storm.
And without question, they are going to need to defend the three-point line for the rest of this game in particular.
Sonano can't finish it, got the whistle on Reese. And that will be number 3 on Angel Reese, who had to sit much of the first half with foul trouble.
Iowa loves to run that set, a box overload set, to get a direct entry pass into Monica Sonano.
Sonano has had her minutes limited in this game. Just 21 minutes thanks to her foul trouble. Sonano, Warnock, and Clark all playing with 4 for Iowa. LSU has LaDasia Williams with 4. Angel Reese and Alexis Morris each with 3 as Sonano hits both free throws.
LSU has been really good, giving Morris a screen, letting her come off and work in her mid-range. And here, with setting the screen with a player who has 4, they got the switch. McKenna Warnock can only do so much defensively here.
Morris has 10 points, 9 assists. Carson had 21 points in the first half. Reese wants it. Using the jab step, Reese nuzzles in and finishes. Angel Reese with 15 points, 10 rebounds, a 14-point lead for LSU. And Clark's 3 won't count. An offensive foul on Sonano, and she has fouled out. An illegal screen called as Sonano fouls out. And that will be the end of the incredible career for Monica Sonano. Came in with unreal expectations, having to replace Megan Gustafson, the legend in the post for the Hawkeyes. And Sonano was able to meet the moment over and over again in her 5-year career.
It's a young woman. It's been so fun to watch her play the post position. Makes the difficult look easy and routine.
So Sonano fouls out. And now Iowa tries to survive without her. Morris has other plans. Lead is back to 16. What a dime from Clark, and Warnock able to finish. Clark with 25 points, 7 assists. Marshall nearly came up with a steal. Here's Reese backing it out.
Smart decision. Use clock.
Here's Morris on the attack. Has it poked from behind out of bounds, and 6 to shoot for LSU.
Alexis Morris here off the handoff. We've been talking about it all game. Her ability in the mid-range, great elevation on the shot.
LSU has 5 different players in double figures. And outside the paint, where they struggled so mightily at times in this tournament, they are shooting 65% today. Reese barrels in, knocked away by O'Grady, and 2.8 to shoot for the Tigers.
LSU has not made a three-point shot in the second half. The first half, they were unstoppable from outside, and here in the second, they've been able to go to other things. Morris on the mid-range, Angel Reese on the offensive boards.
And they've only taken 2 in the second half after they hit 9 of 12. Morris gets fouled by Davis, and Alexis Morris is going to go to the line to shoot 2.
Think about her impact, Ryan, not just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well. And when Sonano got called for that 5th foul. Morris was sitting on the floor looking at her teammates going, 5, that's 5 on her. She knows how hard she has worked on both ends. Ooh.
Tweaked that ankle there as Morris goes to the line. Alexis Morris played for Kim Mulkey at Baylor. Her freshman year was kicked off the team. Then had stops at Rutgers, where she thought she may never end up playing basketball again. Texas A&M. And then came back to Kim Mulkey, this time at LSU. And Mulkey has been what Morris needed, and Morris has been what Mulkey needed. Remember, this is just the 2nd year for Kim Mulkey since taking over a 9-win program. Clark trying to get it to O'Grady, knocked out of bounds by Reese, who is so active defensively. And Clark has not made a field goal since 3:51 to go in the 3rd. Clark separates and knocks down a 3.
She heard you, Rod.
28 for Caitlin Clark, her 8th 3 of the championship game. LSU has been able to still get buckets on this end. Morris running more clock. Working with Reese. Reese leans in, can't finish. Nice job by O'Grady. Here comes Clark. Clark trying to lead Warnock, unable to save it. And Iowa misses a golden opportunity there.
Caitlin Clark trying to shoot the team back into it on the previous possession. Comes off the screen and steps into the deep one. Probably unnecessary. That ball just needed a little more bite to it off the pass, so McKenna Warnock could get there.
Instead of a layup to cut it to 11, it's a turnover, and LSU with the basketball, leading by 13. Morris working behind Reese. The mid-range is open again for Morris. Clark will fire, can't hit. Rebound Carson. LSU firmly in control. Morris able to shake Marshall. Carson wide open. No. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Morris unable to save it. It hit out of bounds. And it's going to be Iowa basketball.
Too early. Too early. The clock is still your friend, LSU. Use it.
Caitlin Clark has been on this unbelievable run. Does Iowa have one more left in her? As Clark lays it in, her first 2-point field goal of the game. Caitlin Clark, another 30-point performance.
All you have to do if you're LSU is wind clock and then get an on-ball screen for Morris to work in the mid-range.
Clark has averaged more than 30 per game during this tournament. Reese facing up. Little hook shot won't go. Knocked around. Williams has it. Williams able to finish. LSU overwhelming Iowa on the interior. Martin gets a clean look. Can't hit. Warnock trying to go up with it. Reese the initial denial, but then the follow is good for McKenna Warnock. 93-80, LSU in front. And that is going to be a 10-second violation. A 10-second violation on LSU. And they turn it over to Iowa.
Kim Mulkey giving Alexis Morris an earful. Yes, use clock, but once you get it over the timeline.
Use 9 seconds over here.
And then the rest of it.
And 20 over here. Kim Mulkey is trying to get a sub in. Kateri Poole. Poole will come and get Carson. Remember, Carson started for much of this season, and then Poole recently inserted into the starting lineup. And now Kim Mulkey's going to take a timeout. LSU will have just one remaining.
30 seconds.
Carson scored 21 points in the first half. Williams has 20 for the game. 16 for Alexis Morris, 9 assists. Angel Reese with 15 points, 10 rebounds. It's been an amazing turnaround for Kim Mulkey and LSU. They were 9-13 the season before Kim Mulkey got there. 26-6 last year. Went to the second round. This year, 33-2, and they are less than 3 minutes away from a championship, Holly Rowe.
Well, Kim Mulkey is one of the most fascinating people in all of sports, but she's also one of the most successful. At everything she's ever done in her life, she's won. She was the class valedictorian in Hammond, Louisiana. She won a national championship as a player at Louisiana Tech. Went on to win gold as a gold medalist on USA basketball in the Olympics, and then went back to LSU or to LA Tech with Leon Barmore, where she also won a national championship as an assistant. You know what she did at Baylor, and here coming back home, she wanted to be home in LSU to support that state, and look what she's done. They have set attendance records at the Pete Merritt Assembly Center all season long. She has reinvigorated this basketball program in the state that loves it so much, and Kim Mulkey, everything she touches turns to gold, including every outfit she wears.
Perfect punctuation, Holly Rowe. 93-80, LSU in front of Iowa. 2:57 to go in this fourth. For the Hawkeyes have one last punch left in them. They cut it to 8 earlier in the quarter, 7 at one point in the third. Clark guarded tightly by Morris. Clark has had to navigate with 4 fouls. Sonano is fouled out. O'Grady with Martin hitting the deck. Clark trying to find some space, leans short. Rebound goes off of Poole, and it's going to stay here with Iowa.
Because of the foul trouble, the one area of Caitlin Clark's game that has been limited is her dribble penetration. Oftentimes we see her coming off the screen or curling off the screen, putting the ball on the floor and going in aggressively. She hasn't been able to do that with the fouls.
Clark calling for it. Has it. Morris up in her space. Clark through the lane. Nice delivery, and O'Grady lays it in. 11-point game. How does Iowa pressure defensively here? Knowing Warnock and Clark both have 4, and you have just a little more than 2 minutes to go.
Most important thing for Iowa on this possession will be to box out and not allow a fresh shot clock on an offensive rebound.
Morris into the paint, leaning and hitting. Alexis Morris trying to take LSU to the finish line. Clark turns it over. Not a good decision there from Caitlin Clark. 16 second half points for Alexis Morris. And a foul there from Warnock. That is her 5th.
No answer for Alexis Morris. And whether it's her pull-up or the floater there, we've seen her drop dimes, and everybody at the BMAC enjoying what they're seeing from Alexis Morris and the LSU Tigers.
Warnock to the bench, a key cog at Iowa's starting 5. She has 1 year of eligibility left. Most points scored in a national championship game. That record is very much in peril, as Marshall applies the foul on Morris. LSU has struggled shooting free throws this season. They're 14 of 19 today, 70% on the season. That's 225th in Division I. Morris with 3 chasing her. Floats it to Poole. Poole evades the foul. Davis trying to apply it. Cannot. Angel Reese with 4 to shoot. Poole going for the dagger. You bet! Kim Mulkey knows the celebration is imminent. Most points in a championship game. A group of 9 new players less than a minute away from LSU's first ever championship.
Stepping into the game for the Tigers now, Jasmine Carson.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
Carson shooting 2.
The Maryland transfer has thrived at LSU. And basically everybody who has touched the floor today for the Tigers has made a big contribution.
Coming into this game, you would think, all right, LSU to win the championship against Iowa would have to rely on their defense. And their defense was solid, but wow, what an offensive performance.
Kim Mulkey on the brink of her 4th national championship. And they know how to party in Louisiana.
I have a feeling they're going to know how to party here in Texas as well.
Meanwhile, for Iowa, Rebecca, a moment to wrap this run. Caitlin Clark has gone through this tournament in a way we have not seen since Cheryl Swoops in 1993. She has gripped the attention of the entire nation, and she is just a junior who is not WNBA draft eligible. So you will get at least one more year of Caitlin Clark as a Hawkeye.
Has certainly become the sport's biggest star.
Martin lets it fly and knocks down the 3. Kate Martin, her career at Iowa will end as well. Both of these teams in a national championship game for the very first time in program history. Iowa not fouling. Williams will back it out. Morris will let it fly. Why not? It's been that kind of night for the LSU Tigers. That 3 rims out. LSU has it. Morris has to get it across. Kim Mulkey, in year 2, has orchestrated a turnaround for the ages. LSU has captured its very first national championship. Caitlin Clark gathers her group after their valiant run to the championship game. Angel Reese celebrates with the freshman Flau'jae Johnson. And you can hear Kim Mulkey saying to Caitlin Clark, "You're a generational player." All class from Kim Mulkey. What a year for Lisa Bluter. Coming up with the shocking upset of South Carolina in the semis. But it's Kim Mulkey and LSU who prevail this afternoon. 102-85 the final, and Kim Mulkey is with Holly Rowe.
She wants her granddaughter and grandson with her. And Coach, they say you can always go home again, and you did. And now you're bringing a trophy with you. How does this feel to bring a trophy home to Louisiana?
Coach is coach a lifetime, Holly. This is the 4th time I've been blessed
Indiana. Coach, this is one of the most improbable championships you could even write a script for. You had one player on the roster coming back. How did you assemble this group of women together, and how did they come together to be so strong in this moment?
Well, I have personalities, and I think a lot of these personalities coaches want to be scared of. I'm not afraid of that. I played with personalities in college. I played with a personality myself. They just are ballers. And golly, Holly, I'm just stunned. I'm blessed. I'm appreciative. It's Palm Sunday. Wow.
Go enjoy this with your team, Coach.
Thank you.
Kim Mulkey, it's just her second year after taking over this 9-win program, leads LSU to its first championship, and now she stands alone third when it comes to most titles for any head coach in the history of women's college basketball. Angel Reese talked about needing Kim Mulkey, the way she brought out the best in her. And Angel Reese, after the game, finishing the way she started this season. LSU has been a confident group throughout, and Angel Reese is with Holly Rowe.
Angel, you were in foul trouble to start this game. How did this group come together in the locker room at halftime and really come together in the biggest moment to win this national championship?
It's no one-man show around here. When I go down, the next man is up every single time. Every time I go out or Alexis goes out, everybody always comes to steps up. Samaya came in as a freshman. Everybody from the bench. Jasmine Carson, are you telling me 21 points in the first half? That's what we needed from her, and I'm super excited and happy for this team.
I've watched you all season long. Your leadership, you hold your teammates accountable. Sometimes it's hard conversations. How have you led this group to a national championship?
Hey, my teammates take constructive criticism. I get on them, they get on me, and it's all positive, and we know we're just trying to get each other better. So this team is just amazing. We've built each other up from the summertime, and I'm so happy.
Kim said you have so many different personalities, and it took a lot of different ones to get here. When you're celebrating and you guys realize that this is within your grasp, what did you say as you came together?
Breathe and believe. That's all we did all year. Just take a deep breath and just keep believing in each other. Nobody thought we were going to be here. Nobody. As long as we believed in each other, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just so happy.
All that mattered is you believed you could be here, Angel.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Holly.
Thank you.
Angel Reese, a champion for LSU. The Tigers able to end the incredible run from Caitlin Clark in Iowa. 102-85, the final. We'll be back in a moment for the championship trophy presentation. The LSU Tigers take down Caitlin Clark in Iowa. What a contest in Dallas. Angel Reese celebrating. She's letting everybody know a ring is coming for the LSU Tigers following their 102-85 victory over Iowa. Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance. It was Alexis Morris who guided LSU to the title down the stretch.
And this morning, Iowa coach Lisa Bluder told her team, you don't win a championship, you go out and take a championship. And Alexis Morris certainly did that, in particular in the fourth quarter. She was unstoppable off the dribble in the mid-range. Defensively, she did what she needed to do. What an incredible game, and in particular, fourth quarter by Alexis Morris.
You saw the 19 in the second half, 15 in the fourth for Morris, who made all the right decisions. And even as Iowa found some success offensively, Morris always had an answer. That was the story the last three games for LSU. They got what they needed to from Alexis Morris in each one of those games. And today, an attack that was egalitarian. It wasn't just Reese and Morris. You had Jasmine Carson with 22. LaDasia Williams scored 20. Flau'jae Johnson, the freshman who struggled for much of this tournament, called it a roller coaster for herself ended up 10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And now to present the championship trophy, let's get things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, congratulations on another incredible women's NCAA tournament. Broken records for attendance, broken records for viewership. This has been the most compelling women's basketball tournament we have ever seen. And it is a great credit to all of these ladies. Congratulations to Iowa on an incredible run. And congratulations to LSU. Now to present the trophy. Are you waiting for your rings? We don't have the rings yet, Angel. We don't have them yet. But we do need Coach Monkey up here. Where's Coach? To present the trophy for LSU is our NCAA Vice President of Women's Basketball, Lynn Holzman, and Lisa Peterson, the Division I Chair of the Women's Basketball Committee. Coach Mulkey?
You look good, girl. You looking good. You ready? What am I doing?
Coach Mulkey, this is the first time, men's or women's, that you have hosted an NCAA championship trophy for LSU. How did this group of women come together for this historic moment?
Holly, year 2 at LSU, and you're hosting this trophy is crazy. And I get to coach at an institution that is internationally known. Those 3 letters, LSU, there's no mistake what they stand for. Louisiana State University.
I think it's so cool because Simone Augustus, who helped put this program on the map, is here watching tonight. She helped build part of this foundation. We see you, Simone. This is for you. And these women came together. Tell me how hard it was to assemble a group with the talent, the unique skill, because it literally took everyone tonight, literally everyone.
I want to acknowledge the first group I got to coach last year. That group started this group's run, and they stayed. They were seniors. They allowed us to coach them. We got in the transfer portal. We had 9 new pieces this year. This is crazy good stuff. Go party, Louisiana.
Okay, and now to announce your most outstanding player of the NCAA tournament, Angel Reese from LSU. I want both of you here because I believe in second chances for everybody, and I know LSU does too. How about your teammate, Alexis Morris? She was on fire in the second half tonight.
I'm so happy for her.
I know that you guys had such an improbable run. Tell me the moment this group came together that you started to finally believe that this could be possible.
Man, I think it started in the summertime. We competed so hard. We was talking trash to each other in the summertime. We used to go at it all the time. So I think it started in the summer. We knew the talent that we had, but it was about piecing it together. And I think we came together at the right time, and now we're national champs.
Your mom and your brother are here. Shout out to mom. Shout out to brother Julian.
Shout out to my mama. Shout out to my mama and my brother, man.
There is something special building, and I don't want to leave you out, Alexis, because I know that you're proud of your family. Your mom has been there for you every step of the way. Tell me what was important for you on this championship run.
Just to keep my team together and play whatever role they needed me to be. And tonight, I was fortunate enough to be a defensive stopper. Kayla, you had an amazing game. You're a great player. But you got to put some respect on LSU. You got to put some respect on my name. And you got to put some respect on Coach Kim Mulkey. Thank you, Coach.
All right, before we let you go, I just want to shout out a few other people. Jasmine, incredible first half. LaDasia Williams, who played every second of the game. Big day, big day, big day. And I want to share one other moment. Flage, there was a tough few minutes in the first half. You had 3 turnovers, and there was a really tough huddle. You almost hung your head, and your teammates said, no, we need you. How they showed up for you in this game, and you showed up for them. I will never forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a true collection of young women, talent, heart, and hard work. I give you your 2023 national champs, the LSU Tigers.
Well, LSU, 102 points this afternoon, a championship game record. And Kim Mulkey, already a legend when it comes to the women's college basketball game, just adds to her impressive resume. A 102-85 final for our producer, Kerry Callahan, our director, Jimmy Platt, Andrea Carter, Holly Rowe, and the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo. I'm Ryan Rucco. ABC World News Tonight, or your local news, will be coming up next on most of these ABC stations, except on the West Coast. Join us on ESPN2 for the Werner Ladder net cutting ceremony. Thank you all for watching. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.
Yeah.